What's happening, everybody? We welcome you back to another episode. This is not just another episode. This is 505 podcast actually found. We have coordinated our outfits so that Christian Pedersen, plus Bodie DeSilva from Scorebook Live. No, I'm pointing to you. No, you're good. Just stop moving. You were good in the first place. This is our cheap telestrator. That was Bodie DeSilva from Scorebook Live, the official content provider of all things high school sports. Check out the Scorebook Live website or download the SBLive Sports app. And the man doing the Ramba over there, somewhat uncomfortably, is Dave Ring, DR Player Development on all the socials, the best hitting coach in baseball. We welcome you back to another episode of us proving that nothing. I don't know if whose line is it anyway. A reference dates me a little too much, maybe kind of but they would always start off that show by saying the points are made up and nothing makes any sense. That's baseball this season, is that the points are made up and nothing makes any sense anymore. Every week we sit on here and try and tell each other who are the top 10 teams, who are the top
hits are made up recently.
Also, someone turned the slider difficulty all the way up on hitting this year. It's just a pitching dominant year, but nothing makes any sense. Nothing is sacred. No teams. I would say there is no true number one team this year. There's not really like this team's coming. This team's defending and everyone else is coming for it. So we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to the top 10. We're gonna get to Dave's dingers. We're gonna finally get to some of the playoff first looks, if you will. But before that, Bodie DeSilva, would you like to start us off, as we do every week, by giving us the outdated and unfortunately now ripped to shreds top 10?
Yeah, I think kind of what you said. I think I've had 7 different teams at number 1 at some point this year, which just speaks to, one, what I love about baseball, because all the top teams seem to play each other, whether it's the tournaments, the non-league. Even this portion of the year, we've got some league crossover games. So St. Augustine at number 1. They did go down this week. Doesn't mean they can't hold on to number 1. They're going to get that rematch against Point Loma. But shout out to Point Loma on that win. Cathedral coming in at number 2. Granite Hills at number 3. Patrick Henry at number 4. So you get 3 of the top 4 with the Western League. Then you get your North County Coastal run. Carlsbad at 5. Rancho Bernardo 6. Torrey Pines 7. East Lake 8. Sage Creek 9. Del Norte 10. That first 5 of teams just outside for me this week was La Costa Canyon. Obviously, they have that win over Carlsbad now. Santa Fe Christian, a big win over La Jolla Country Day. San Marcos, Coronado, and Maranatha.
Boom.
Yeah, boom. Right up until did you see Conan O'Brien's Hot Ones that he did?
I have not seen it.
There's he rips through the last one, covers it, and he's just screaming, I'm fine. I thought that's Bodie at the end of every top 10. He's just dripping sweat and tears, and he's going, I'm fine, I'm doing okay. Dave Ring, your rebuttal and or revisionist top 10.
Right, so the Saints now 16-3. Yep. That's crazy. Saints number 1 for me this week. Cathedral 2, Henry 3, Torrey Pines number 4, East Lake, RB, Granite Hills. I'm going to sneak Point Loma in there, Carlsbad, and Bonita Vista also. I'm going to put it number 10.
Let's go.
They've got, I think it was a 13-5 record from what I saw when I was doing some research. Same record as Del Norte.
13-5-1, yep.
And so, like Bodie said, I think Del Norte, Bonita Vista, about the same caliber, top 10 teams right now. But I'm going to sneak Bonita Vista in after a couple of really big wins.
But also none of it means anything, and that it'll all change in 10 days when we meet back up for another one. Dave, let's stay with you then, and let's just go straight into Dave's dingers.
Yeah, it's been kind of a slow week. I mean, there's been a couple sophomores that have been really impressive. Alex Harrington is up to 5 now with an amazing start to the season. So I just wanted to kind of rattle off some guys here. Levi Ham still leading the county with 8. Jack Circuit's got 6. J.J. Moran still has 6. J.T. Bride has 5. We'll go down and list Max Farrell. He's got 5 over at San Marcos. I think he hit one in league play yesterday. It was like an Oppo shot from what I saw.
That, going through the box score.
Andres Ontivares, Calexico, has got 5. Talon Gardini, he's got 4. You go down the list, same thing. Gavin Vanderbilt stuck at 4 here. And then we look at like Kyle Rogers, big D1 commit over at not San Marcos, but Mission Hills up in San Marcos. He's got 3. Same with Elijah Selga, Eli Selga, they call him. He's got 3 dingers. And then Hank Hansen over at La Jolla, Brooks Bachman at Cathedral, all stuck at 3 there. And Chase Klemke hit his 2nd of the year. He's starting to get hot in league play. And then the last few here, we'll go with Richie Moores at 2 and Jackson Norum for La Jolla Country Day at 2. So the list it's solid. It's just we saw like a really big spike at the beginning of the year. Now it's died down. Dingers are hard to come by in these tight games against some of these really good pitchers. Oh, but it's been a fun year watching a lot of these guys, especially some of these impressive juniors and sophomores who've got 4 and 5 home runs
that's
already.
What I was going to say is the fact that we're not just talking about 4 or 5 D1 bound seniors,
right?
A la the Calvin Mitchell year of like guys who are like, oh, established commodities are out there smashing. Like
exactly.
This is you might say, oh, 5 home runs, he hit 2 of them early. Like it's not maybe sustained success, but any amount of home runs, difficult. It's not a given that you're just going to naturally run
especially
into a
Oppo.
Couple.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot to mention Alex Jennings. He went Oppo for his 3rd home run of the year. Madison
on top of throwing a great game. So
that was impressive. I was trying to think who else hit that Oppo home run. So him and one other guy hit an Oppo home run. That's just as impressive, if not, more than pulling a home run, right?
And we always got to give a shout out in conjunction to Marshall, the PA announcer at Madison, always giving great calls for those home runs. He does a lot of great work and has also debuted his own sports show that you guys should go check out. Bodie, you look deeply enthralled with something. You're either watching Division III women's ice hockey or you are looking up some stats.
No, he's looking for another shirt.
You're looking
for a shirt like this, and he's shopping right now.
No, we've got a working power rankings page this week that I'm pretty fired up about.
We're gonna put it on the poll. Does it surprise you at all that Bodie is shopping for fire accessories during the show?
That's why I wore this, because I was like, dude, he's gonna bring something this week. I've just got to be louder.
Low key, Bodie has it. Just
you know what I wanted to say. You want to feel old?
Sure.
Okay. Guess who made their major league debut this week?
Not
today.
Nastrini.
Nasty Nastrini. He's 24 years old. I mean, literally.
I was going to say Jack Leiter because I remember watching.
Yeah, but that's not a callback to anything for our show.
Correct. That's not a San Diego reference.
Me thinking like, okay, like with
Leiter's a dude, though. So
I think he's thinking more like we had Al Leiter baseball cards growing up, type of thing.
That's true. That's true. But Nick Nastrini getting a chance to
Cathedral
to
Catholic
start
alum for those of you
for the White Sox.
2018. Yep.
It's crazy, man. 24 years old.
And then went to
Happy
UCLA
for you.
afterwards.
Yes. Nice. And then was a top Dodger prospect that I'm glad is no longer on the Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah. So he's with the White Sox?
Yeah.
So
South Side.
We're going to need some run support.
Well, so we're hoping that Nastrini follows Cease and gets traded to the Padres in a couple years.
I see that happening in the future. That's something that, I mean, he definitely could fit as a Padre someday.
All right, let's do it right now. What do you say, White Sox? Profar for Nastrini. Straight up.
Ouch.
No? Yes? That's how bad we want him?
At this rate,
okay.
At this rate, Profar has meant too much.
I love it. There we go.
Shout out to Christian's throwback 98 orange Padres shirt.
Well, this has got the
little of everything.
The 90s.
That's the Khalil. The Khalil Green years.
Definitely everybody's least favorite of the color
the
scheme.
Sean Burrows years.
The OG Petco,
years. Yeah.
Bodie and Dave actually got the good ones. I've got the Mr. Irrelevant of shirts over here.
Mine was a giveaway, if you don't know.
I think both of ours were giveaways. Yours at a better time in Padres history than mine, and Bodie had to buy his.
Yeah.
Bodie, you got game balls this week, or do you want to jump straight to your 505 podcast found rankings?
I can pull up some game balls
All right, let's do your game balls, Dave game balls, and then we'll close out with the look at the playoff ranking standings, power rankings, whatever we want to call them.
Lots of impressive pitching performances this week. Yeah. I know Bodie wants to touch on that stuff, especially a couple no-hitters. I mean, some really good hitting teams got shut out, especially after putting up a lot of runs. It's kind of kind of happened to the Padres last night. I mean, they've been on a roll, and then the Brewers shut them down 1-0, right? And it can happen to any team really, but.
Yeah, going through Trevor Smith from Granite Hills, 3 for 4 double, drove in 3 runs in their win against Steel Canyon. Granite definitely played very well last week. I believe 2 shutouts in their wins over Steel Canyon. Kyle Plasman from Santa Fe Christian, freshman there, in their series against Francis Parker last week, reached base 8 times, drove in 3 runs. Gavin Vanderpool from San Marcos, 2 walks, a double, 4th home run of the season. They beat Del Norte 7-6. Grayson Bowles from St. Augustine struck out 9, big Texas commit, and did not allow an earned run in their 7 innings against Patrick Henry. Then Tanner Courier out from Brawley, struck out 9, 2 hits across 5 innings. So definitely be interested to see how the desert teams stack up and where they get their seeds here in a couple weeks come playoffs, and knowing that travel, whether it's Brawley, Calexico, Central, whoever it may be that gets to host some teams, or if they got to make those bus trips out here.
And baseball, there's always a degree that was everything, Bodie?
Yep.
Okay, so baseball, there's always a degree of home field advantage or disadvantage, and I know that it's not necessarily like a huge elevation change, but the air is a little crisper and different out in the Brawley Imperial area, and can definitely, you're playing a night game out there on a certain kind of night, ball can fly a little bit differently than if you're somebody who's used to pitching super coastally.
Yeah.
You can leave that fastball up a little bit high.
Yeah, I talked to Trevor Bauer in Mexico on his first start, right?
Yeah.
Like, got shelled. I mean, his ball doesn't spin as much out there. Same thing.
Yeah, so it can definitely be something where that's a trap game that you don't even realize is a trap game, that if you have to head out to play a 7 p.m. start against Brawley on a dry, warm night, that a couple extra runs might come across the plate there. All right, Dave, you got game balls? Okay,
definitely.
So Dave game balls, and then let's go into some 505 podcast found.
All right, I wanted to give a game ball to Joshua Johnson, 2024 RB, committing to Western Oregon. Congrats, my guy. Like we said, lots of offensive games. A huge game for Mission Hills this week as they beat number 9 Sage Creek. Bodie's number 9. I wanted to give a shout out to Jackson Jenkins, 6 innings, 5 hits allowed, 5 chairs thrown. If you know what that means, it means he throws his pitch, the hitter swings and misses, and he has to go take a chair.
Weird that we have to explain that.
All right,
still
just
in the
making
Instagram
sure.
comments.
I'm just making sure. And so no, I don't get any DMs, just in case that I'm talking bad about someone. Chairs are good, and for Mission Hills, big win. That's league play for them, so they're mixing stuff up here in league. We got to give a shout out to Zane Nordquist.
Yep, absolutely.
Who's on the whiteboard right behind Christian. Bodie and I were talking about, 19 Ks, beat Valley Center 10-1. He did allow 1 run. We're so curious how that 1 run was allowed.
I'm going to go check that one out right now.
And
Still a no-hitter,
complete game, no-hitter, 19 Ks. If you do the math, how many hitters did he face? 21.
Obviously not.
Or more.
Maybe the minimum,
He
right?
had to face more than 21 because the run had to come in.
Okay, so let's
24.
see. 24. Ooh.
He hit 3 guys. There we go. There's our answer.
All right, buddy.
Let's put that on the poll at SD Prep Insider.
No wonder
Is
everyone's
a
so
no-hitter more
intimidated.
impressive if you let in 1 run?
He threw one over the backstop and then started just throwing strikes.
Still, though, 96 pitches, 19 Ks,
Love it.
3 hit batters. I like it.
SDSU got a good one, man.
Congrats.
SDSU
Yeah, man.
got a really good one.
And he can hit. La Costa Canyon beat number 5 Carlsbad. Cooper Walls, Max Collins combined for a no-hitter. This is an impressive win for La Costa, whose record is not showing kind of the strength of their team. But then again, the hitting has been up and down for every team this year. It seems like pitching is just really dominated in terms of single-game wins, throwing shutouts, throwing one-run games.
And they've got some huge league games to kind of make up for that. And for Cooper Wall's 3rd career no-hitter, so that's a big deal here.
Yeah, he's an absolute dude, man. He threw 7 innings there, 4 walks, 7 chairs. Ryan DiMartino, that game, had 2 RBIs and a double, or 1 RBI and a double. And then the reason I put Bonita Vista in my top 10 this week is because they beat Montgomery 3-0. And got to give another shout out to Ismail Castanon. He threw 7 innings, 8 Ks. Also, Alonzo Andrade had a 2-run homer. Give you a game ball, my guy, instead of a Dave's dinger ball. But yeah, like I said, Ismail Castanon might be one of the most slept on pitchers that we don't hear a ton about. He's huge. He throws gas. I hear a ton about him through a lot of the hitters that I work with. So congrats to you for another fantastic start, man.
Yeah, for Bonita Vista, they're one, I think as long as they keep winning, they will likely make their way into my top 10 next week. But going through, they've played top teams. They played Saints. They have a 1-0 loss against Henry. They lost to La Costa in game 2 of the year. So they're in Division 2. They currently sit as the top seed, but they've prepared themselves. Wins over Scripps Ranch. They beat Santana. They have a 10-inning tie with Point Loma. Like, they've been tested. I expect them, when they get into these D2 playoffs, whether they're the 1 seed, whatever it may be, they're not going to have to play that play-in game. I expect them to make a very, very deep run there in Division 2.
What was it yesterday? Point Loma won 1-0 against
1-0, 8 innings over Saints.
Over Saints, that's right. That's where the loss
Saints,
was.
So Will Sanford, Will Sanford, all he does is strike guys out. I believe he's got 30 more strikeouts in innings pitched at this point. Struck out, was it 11, 12? But yeah, just when he's on the mound, he struck out 13 in 6 innings yesterday.
That's kind of what we're saying. It's harder to hit this year, I think. There's a lot of arms that can go 7 innings. You see here a lot of the 7 innings. These guys are really built to last long in the game and throw multiple pitches with some velo. Man, that's tough to hit.
All right, let's talk some playoffs then, because Bodie, you hinted at some of these teams are going to be good when they get into X, Y, and Z, E2s type stuff. Do you want to start top division down division up?
Yeah, I got Division 1 pulled up right now, and obviously we know those that top group, that top 8 goes into open.
So let's do it this way then. Instead of debating the minutia of who's gonna make open or not, give me the top 2 teams right now, because those 2 are probably very safe in that they will make open. So Dave and I will then. I'm setting it up for the audience. Dave and I will give. Do we like that? Though either of those teams or the field? Then Bodie will you can cut it off at right now. If the playoffs started tomorrow, the number 9 is, and you'll give me 9 and 10 as the 1 and 2 seeds. And then the other divisions will just be able to do it normally. So right now, if the season ended today, the top 2 seeds in open division would be
St. Augustine 1, Torrey Pines 2.
Okay, Dave.
Wow.
Do you like Saints or Torrey or the field?
I'm going to take the field in terms of you've got enough firepower down there.
Tons.
I think there's 6 teams that could compete against them, although I do love Saints, and I personally think they're the best team in the county right now, just based on what we're seeing. I'll take the field because it's so competitive.
I will take Saints. Not even Saints and Torrey. I'll just take, if I'm picking out of that category, I'll take Saints. I have been big on, in all sports, what I've always said is, I ride with you until proven otherwise, and I have the sample size now that I need for Saints this season to know that they are a quality, reliable team in close games. They are a quality, reliable team at blowing the doors off of people. I get the premise of baseball is a little bit of a random championship generator sometimes in terms of how you match up pitching variety, pitching matchups and days wise, but in the context of this game, I'll take not just those 2 versus the field. I'll take that 1. Bodie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I tend to think I'd go with the field as well, just because there's so much out there.
Okay.
You've got Granite at 3, Henry at 4, RB at 5, and we haven't even gotten to Cathedral, Carlsbad, San Marcos, who has a win over Saints, La Costa, Eastlake there right now would be outside of the open. There's just so much more, and I think probably 11 teams that still are fighting for a chance to get an open, possibly Sage if they go on a run. They do have 2 early losses in league, but I think 11 for those 8 spots right now, so I would just have to go with the rest of the field.
And it's so tough for us to be able to pick. Like you said, these teams are so evenly matched, yet ranked in an order where 6, the ranking of Cathedral compared to Saints. I mean, those two teams are going to really match up well.
Well, and this one's the
in a
hardest of
one-on-one
all
game,
of these.
especially.
This one's the hardest of all of these hypothetical permutations that we have to talk about today because of that drop down. Where other divisions, it's just going to be who's where. It's this one literally. If you drop down to 9th, you're in a whole other playoff bracket. So, Bodie, you said though it was Eastlake and LCC. Is that the 1 and 2 right now? If the season ended today,
they would be the 2 and the 3.
Okay, so who is then? Give us the one.
So Del Norte is the 9th team, so the 1 seed in D1. Eastlake would be the 2. La Costa 3.
Then let's do that again.
Yeah.
Dave,
Norte.
Bodie, same question is Del Norte. And then you said Del Norte LCC?
Oh, Del Norte Eastlake would be
Del
1 and 2.
Norte and Eastlake or the field for the D1 championship. Dave, ring to you.
We got the field is Sage Creek, Grossmont, and then it drops down to, and it drops down
Kingsley.
from there. We got a visitor again, folks.
Good girl. Oh,
Help yourself.
Everyone
Give Bodie
really,
a little love.
Everyone really enjoyed the episode last week.
She said, "Where's Point Loma? Get Point Loma."
I got so many texts from people. They're like, "Is that your dog?
Give Bodie some love this week."
Is that your dog?" They
There we
said.
go.
Oh, so sweet.
We're good.
All right, Dave, keep going.
All right. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take the number 1 and the number 2 seed just based on how the field kind of drops off a little. I mean, you got Mission Hills, the Country Day towards the end there. But I like how strong Del Norte's been. And, especially La Costa, they've got the pitching to go deep in the playoffs. So if they're a D1 team to finish in playoffs, their pitching is going to be really tough to hit in that playoff.
For this one, I would change the exercise and say I'll take the first 3 versus the field.
Right.
Just because if you give me Del Norte, Eastlake, La Costa, I like my chances just with what each of those bring. They're going to be tested. But just looking between them right now, Eastlake's at 13 wins, La Costa's at 6 wins, and they're next to each other. So it just kind of shows quality, who they've played, what they're going to play coming up. I like them a bunch there, but this whole group as a whole is loaded. I'll be curious. You got so many of these teams playing each other over these next 3 and 4 weeks before playoffs. San Marcos 1 and 3 in league so far. Can they improve that a little bit? Rancho Bernardo 4 and 1. Are they going to hold on and just run away with the North County Coastal? So we'll see. If they do, there's a lot of room for movement.
Well, so that's where I would take the field.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to the quality of any of these teams, but the fact that you expanded it down to 3 to include LCC alone just tells me that you take the field on this one, is that the D1 champion this year is going to be an absolute. I mean, that's going to be the final scene from Roadhouse this year, where the boat flies in and people are getting killed,
and those are going to be.
It's a real fight. That's a true knockdown drag out.
As a reminder, those are back-to-back games at Fowler Park, which will be awesome. A 4 o'clock, a 7 o'clock. So, whoever those teams end up being, if you like baseball, I guarantee it'll be great matchups.
Then, Bodie, let's go down to Division 2.
Yeah, so Division 2, we start with Bonita Vista at the top, who I just talked about. 13-5-1. They have a slight edge right now over Santa Fe Christian. But then you start going down. This one's deep, too. You got Point Loma at 3. Clearly just showed when Will Sanford pitches, they can beat anyone. Maranatha's there at 4. Madison 5. San Pasqual 6. Helix,
okay, so give
and
us then.
Pascal.
So the question is 1 and 2. Who are 1 and 2?
Bonita Vista, Santa Fe Christian, 1 and 2.
Dave, for the Division 2 playoffs, Bonita Vista, SFC, or the field right now?
I'll take Bonita Vista and SFC. I really like Santa Fe Christian. I've liked them all year. They've just gotten a little slow start, but now I think they're 13-5.
13-4, yep.
13-4.
Unbeaten in that league, so.
I really like them. They've got a mix of old players, older guys with the young players, and just got a lot of vibes there. Lots of guys that are really good friends. And then
preseason trip to the Dominican, I believe.
Yeah, 100%. They do a lot of cool things in the community, that team. I think we should spend a whole show kind of talking about that one time.
Jack Haverkamp's never won a playoff game.
Really? I tend to think that will change this year.
I feel like this is the strongest team he's been on, for sure. And Bonita Vista, they've got the pitching. They've got senior leadership with a lot of guys that are hitting right now. They always play good D. I do like them over the field, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I would lean 1 and 2 as well. I think both of them have enough pitching options and enough offense to go with it. I would trust both of them at this point.
I will agree with you also. I think that the SFC team, like you said, it's not just singularly reliant on is Jack going to hit 500 and or draw walks, and that's the only, like, we've seen some teams that once they get into that playoff setting, I mean, how long did Marcelo Mayer go without seeing a hittable pitch?
Yeah. Although,
like
last pitch of his career, grand slam. So
but still, though, that brought that team's production down a noticeable step once he stopped getting pitched to. Those games became a lot closer.
Yep.
And it started to be like, okay, just because he's on base, that doesn't necessarily correlate into there's 2 or 3 dudes right behind him capable of absolutely smashing the ball. But we have not seen SFC have a correlation to if Jack doesn't go 2 for 4 with a double and a dinger, they can't win a game. So
they got Will Morangi over there. He's got 52 Ks. I mean, they've got pitching also.
Kyle Plasman, who I mentioned in my top performers of the week, game balls. I mean, that's a freshman getting on base, helping them sweep Parker last week. So,
all right, let's
said young and old.
Let's go D3.
Division 3 right now. Valhalla is at number 1 with El Capitan number 2. And then La Jolla, Brawley, El Camino, Mater Dei Catholic.
All right, Dave, El Cap, Brawley, or the field?
El Cap, Valhalla.
El Cap, Valhalla, or the field?
I'm going to take the field. I like La Jolla over those teams in terms of pitching, just because I know them mostly, but I mentioned a few of their guys at the beginning of the year. They've got the pitching, and a couple of their hitters are getting real hot. From my perspective, I think La Jolla is a really solid team in general. This has just had a kind of a rocky start, but La Jolla, I'll take the field just based on them down there.
Yeah, I would agree as well. La Jolla there, a big shutout over Coronado just yesterday. They've got some pieces there. And I think even going down furthermore, you got El Camino at number 5 right there. I'd be curious. As the 5, you'd have to play that first play-in game to get into the double elimination bracket. Do you save Zane Nordquist and then use him when you're playing your next game against the 4, or do you throw him game 1 just to get into the double elimination? That's the strategy I really like with the whole double elimination and the play-in to get there. So I would take the field as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I'm technically obligated to take the field because I already said at one point this year El Camino was one of my surprising teams based off of like you said, St. Norquist, they got that vibes, they know how to hit. But I'll go in with El Cap. I'm fine with that. They can hit the ball pretty well.
Yeah,
like they've got a
thumpers.
couple of guys that can hit some home runs, and in that, yes, the playoffs will be double elimination, and there is still some you got to win a couple of games type thing. But it's a smaller sample size, and if you really only got 7 innings left and 2 dudes hit some home runs or 1 dude hits a little charge in the ball, sometimes can be all you need. So I'll take the 1-2 over the field right now. Bodie, D3, please. Or that was D3 on to D4?
That was D3. Division 4, Monta Vista and University City are at 1 and 2, and they're separated by 1/100th of a point. So they're really back and forth for who grabs this.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I think the way University City's playing, a win over Lincoln, they're now 16-5, undefeated in league. I think they're going to be on the move, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them grab the number 1 seed. But Monta Vista, University City 1 and 2. You got Imperial, Hilltop, Valley Center, San Diego High, Morse, Sweetwater. That's your top 8.
Holy hell, that is my favorite bracket we have talked about yet. No matter who wins that, I'm going to love it.
You got teams all over the county, really represented in each conference, and I tend to think I'd go 1 and 2 because I do like this University City team. It's tough though. We've seen a lot of these other teams though play up in leagues where they're being tested against higher divisions. So there's that theory. Does that always come back, and is it going to help you in playoffs? Maybe you have one more pitcher for this double elimination round, but I would go 1 and 2. I really like University City.
Yeah, I can't think of a team that will beat University City in that playoff bracket. Jack Clark, probably one of the best pitchers in the county. He's got 67 Ks. They've also got a few other pitchers that are definitely at the same caliber, so I don't see UC losing to many teams late in the season based on their pitching. I've got them shutting down teams, putting big zeros on the board.
I'm with you. I'll take 1 and 2 versus the field there. Gavin Daly, a hitter that we haven't talked about on the Monta Vista side. He's got a lefty swing that's real sweet, has a couple of huge jacks for them. And UC loaded on the pitching and the hitting side. So yeah. I'm with you on both of those. Dave, also, you get credit for being the most subdued alumni that we've ever had on the show and not just out here going, yeah, go Centurions.
One of these days I'll wear my UC hat.
Yeah,
I got one.
Go. All right, Bodie, D5?
D5, we've got Mount Miguel at number 1, 9/10 of a point ahead of the second seed Orange Glen. You go down, you got Mountain Empire, you got Kearney, you got Elkhorn Valley, Coastal Academy, High Tech High, and Hoover round out the top 8 there. So Mount Miguel and Orange Glen would be the 1 and 2. I hate to go 1 and 2 again because it's baseball. We've seen it so many times. You get a lower seed makes a run. I have to take those top 2. I think Orange Glen has as good of a chance of really as Mount Miguel there. So I will go 1-2 as it sits for Division 5.
Dave?
You know what? The guys over at Kearney can hit, man. And that's where I feel like every year I notice that those guys are in the top, percentages for batting average. So is that the field? If I take...
Yes, that's taking the field.
That's taking the field. All right. I like Kearney. I'm going to take the field there.
Yeah, and the key there is getting, even if you're not 1 and 2, you get that top 4 seed, you're into the bracket, you don't have to play that first round play-in. So just one more game of not having to use a pitcher.
It would be a heck of a thing for Matthew Barton to show up at Mount Miguel for football specifically, and then to also just get a baseball championship out of it too. I'll take the field though, just because sometimes you get down to those lower divisions and it gets a little bit more randomized. Bodie, 5AA, and then let's get out of here.
5AA, we got Calvin Christian at number 1 by a really hefty gap right now, almost a 1.5 over second-seeded Rock Academy. St. Joseph, Liberty Charter, Victory Christian, Bonsall, Ocean View, and Borrego Springs is that top 8 there. So,
Dave, 1-2 or the field?
Yeah, the way Calvin Christian is so far, they have a loss to Valley Center, obviously several divisions higher to them, and then an out-of-section loss to Bear River. Otherwise, they've been rolling through 16 runs, 15, 14, 21, 11, 21, 14-0 over Army-Navy. So the way that Calvin Christian is, I'd have a tough time picking against them right now. So in that one, just give me the 1.
Yeah, give me the 1 for sure.
I think we'll make that a clean sweep on that. Anything else that we missed this week, guys, in terms of general high school baseball, softball, anything like that going on?
Yeah, shout out to these no-hitters. I mean, the pitchers are dominating, and we'll see. Come playoff time, if you're throwing them then that's a whole other separate deal. But, 3-4 more weeks till playoffs and see what these brackets look like.
All right, go download the SBLive Sports app so you can support Bodie. Go check out everything Dave Ring is doing at DR Player Development. Intern number 2 is crying in the background, so that is my sign that we have pushed our time limit here and that a happy wife,
we need a ball thrown too.
And we need a ball thrown. So on behalf of my 2 interns that collectively are the 2 neediest people in my life, we will say adios. Everyone will talk to you next week.